gentlemen, I'm planning to last 10 minutes with 5 minutes of questions, so you can get away early for lunch if you need to. Yes, my name's Erica Bassford. I'm head of Aspire at Loris International. We've been working with businesses for the last 15 years, helping them on the lead journey, and we've generated success. What I'd like to do with you in the short time we've got is share some of our learnings along the way, using our sustainable improvement model. SIMS are short, so I don't get that tongue-tied on it. We'll touch on some of the things that go wrong, and then look at how we can rectify them. So I'm aiming to have time at the end for questions, but if you do want to stay behind, myself and my colleague Steve Rogers, our global MD, will be here to answer some questions in the audience there. So the SIM model. We can achieve anything we wish to, provided we have the time, the ability, and the inclination. We can put a man on the moon, or indeed orbiting in space. Our SIM model reflects this. The engagement approach deals with the time element. The improvement techniques and measurement system with the ability. And last but not least, the leadership and strategy elements and management processes with the inclination. Beneath the headings are several elements, each of which is a key attribute required for successful lead. We can assess a business by using the model, and we'll rate them red, amber, green. Red, not engaged, amber are at the enlightened stage, and green, they're good or moving towards best practice. It's more important to turn the red to amber than the ambers to green. We are only as good as our weakest link. They're also in priority order. Those at the top need to be in place before you move on to the ones at the bottom. So not only does the model give you the weaknesses to work on, but also the order in which to focus. Today we're going to focus on the inclination end, and we're going to look at the middle leg, because that's where most businesses tend to struggle. That's where managers get their frustrations, where things fall backwards and lead starts to fail. We've heard lots of people talk about techniques, about the ability, but the inclination often gets left behind. Do you suffer from these problems? Do sales promote things that you can't make at the wrong time? Do your engineering production teams seem to work on different values? Are they in their own living silos? What about that production plan that comes out and you take one look at it and think, my line's stopped and nothing's running. What's going on? And what about those frontline managers? Are they focused on the real things for the business that you want them to be focused on? Sound familiar? All these things are people generated, the human element. So let's look at what we can do about it. The answers are in the leadership and strategy leg of the model. For today, we're going to assume that your vision is already there and that your line management and organisation is satisfactory. We find with most clients we work with, these are already at the amber level. So we tend to be working at the levels below that. So our focus is going to be on the right objectives and starting with the goal alignment. How do you set goals in your business? Are you clear on what your goals are? What about your first line managers? Are they clear? If you're centrally organised, the chances are that you will all be clear, but the lower levels of management will probably not feel very responsible and will probably fail to act on their own initiative. If you're managed in business units, that's great. You might have clear business goals within your unit, but are they a detriment to other businesses, other parts of the business, other units? The most effective method is the holistic approach, where clear direction and systems are set and framework at the top, then the leaders within the business set their own KPIs, which they then cascade. Unfortunately, a lot of businesses do this poorly. The good news is, a very quick goal alignment exercise can yield results for the business in a short period of time. What about accountability? Who's accountable within your business? Do you ever go to a meeting and find more than one person has been actioned for something? What happens when they don't deliver? Do you get the finger pointing, blame culture? You can only ever make one person accountable. Yes, they can delegate responsibility, and yes, they can delegate actions, but they can never delegate their accountability. They must be held to account. But to do that, they need to understand why they're accountable, and they need to agree to it. It ceases to amaze me when I sit managers down. One of the exercises I'll do with them is going to ask them to write out what they feel they're accountable for. How many times those managers struggle to write down that list? Either they've forgotten, or those accountabilities were never agreed. I then ask them to go and talk to their manager and see if they agree what their accountabilities are. And so many times there's a mismatch in belief. Accountabilities need to be lived and breathed. They need to be alive. The only way to do that is to regularly review them. So do you have the capability to deliver? Most professions take 3 to 8 years to train to become a recognised status, for example, chartered status. Management is the exception. How many of you have taken good operators and promoted them into frontline manager positions? How many of them got training? And I don't mean training on processes and systems, I mean training on managing others. It rarely happens. The only thing they've got are the role models around them. So don't be surprised when they copy bad behaviours of other managers. Don't be surprised if they won't deal with difficult situations, if they've never been shown how to deal with conflict, if they keep failing to deliver on time. They may never have been taught how to delegate. We use the spider diagram, the model, to assess an individual's strengths and weaknesses. Colour-coded in the same way as the SIM model, we can quickly see where the areas of development are required. Link this with a trainer who has gone through those experiences, can relate to them, and you have a very powerful tool for success. This model works at any management level. Perhaps you'll be brave enough to mark yourself against it and see where you think your strengths and weaknesses are. Okay, so we've got a clear strategy, we've aligned our goals, we've got clear accountabilities, we've got competencies. Why is it we still get poor results and undesirable behaviours? Behaviours stem from our beliefs. I believe people come to work to do a good job. However, what I believe is a good job and what they believe is a good job may be very different. Our beliefs differ. The only way to make real change is to challenge our beliefs that underpin our behaviours. To do that, we need to look at the why, not just the how we need to change. Take, for example, when we train operators in problem solving. I could train an operator in less than 2 hours to root cause problem solve. But that's not enough. It won't change their beliefs. They may start to realise that there may be a better way of problem solving, but it's not in their heart. We then spend a lot of time working on why we need to change our methods, and eventually they become believers. And the result? Great self-starting problem solvers. Priceless results. Take the engineer who could not see why we need to look at a filling machine. All 6 heads are filling perfectly, albeit one was taking a second longer. When he understood the why and got the belief, he had his eureka moment. He then stood up in front of his management team and said, "I can't believe the difference a second makes." He had changed. So in summary, we're only as strong as our weakest link. Assuming your strategy and leadership is in place, if you're starting to see silo mentality, if you're seeing a lack of initiative, then you probably need to be working on your goal alignment. If you have a blame culture or lack of ownership, your accountabilities aren't clear. If there's poor management practices going on, look at your skills. And if you've still got inappropriate behaviours or a hire and fire culture, then you need to challenge those beliefs. Look at the why, not just the how. Thank you for listening today. I have placed some briefing response forms behind the gentleman over there, so if you want to take one and fill one out to challenge your own mindset, please do. There's also a place where you can leave your details. If you do want further information, please fill that in and leave it with us. As I said, it's lunchtime, I'm sure you're all very hungry, but myself and Steve will be staying around if you want to talk to us and ask any questions. So thank you for your time.